All right, so in the next one, we're going to be using the router to control our users and our authenticated users and so on. So if you do a search for just VueJS router, and you can also add navigation if you want to, navigational guards, you should get to this page here, right? And in here we have the information we kind of need to set everything up. So I just quickly want to browse through this and start typing out the code. Some of the things we need to know is what we want to do. And the one we want to use is the router.beforeEach, and it looks like this. So we can set this up in our router. We're going to use this down here, where we have the to, from, and next. So we're going to control the user by this. So if something is resolved true, then we're going to do this. Sort of like we did over here with our sign in, sign out method, right? But the important thing is here also that it's stated that make sure you call the next function. So once something is completed or true, that we call the next, and that means we're either sending them to this page or that page if something is true, if it failed, or it gets accepted. All right, so this page you can just browse through it if you need to have more information on what you can do, but I'm just gonna write it out in our router here. So go to our router, and this is where we left off last time. And after this one here, the path, you're just going to do one of those to make sure we end it. And then we're going to create a router before. It doesn't even prompt me with this. That's because up here I haven't actually imported my Firebase yet. So let's just do this real quick. And I'm just going to go steal the one I have in my login here. So the login is import Firebase from Firebase and the Firestore, right? So I'm just gonna punch those in here and save. And then we have an error for some reason. Why do we have an error? Oh, it's because I'm writing down stuff down here and I'm not done with it. So it doesn't matter. Yours shouldn't be prompting an error if you have it like this. And when we're back, great. So router and dot before each. Doesn't even prompt me with this, does it? Before each here, and the E is capitalized, so remember that. And then we do one of those, and as you can see in here, where we have it, there I have a to, from, and next. So we're going to do that in between the parentheses here as well. So create another parentheses, create to, create from, and then next. So that's the first one, and still inside before the last parameters, we're going to create our lambda expression for the function, and we're going to set this on up now. So now we need to see right here they're blank, so we have to figure this one out ourselves, right? So right now we're going to take the current user, like the one we logged in with from Firebase, and store this here, so we can actually test to this one. So let's make a const and create this current user. And this will set to equals to firebase.auth, there we go, and then current user. So that now we're checking on the current user that's actually being logged in. So we're just storing him here. And the next thing we want to do is want to create a constant, and then we want to create something that requires auth. I can't spell this today. And here we kind of want to check if everything that is correctly. So we want to do what we call a match. So basically, is it the same over here, right? So let's do a to matched, and you can find this on Vue over here if you want to as well. And dot sum, and then we're going to do record, and then the lambda expression, and record.meta.requires auth. There we go. And set this to this. So here are the things we're going to store and actually test upon. And we're going to use the required auth to set our navigation guards. And that's the one that's testing if you're logged in, you're allowed to go here, right? That's the navigation guard. So we're going to do an if statement down here. And inside the if statement, we're going to do, the first one we're going to test to see if required auth is true and you're not logged in. So not the current user here. Then you're going to do next. Oops, I can't spell next. So again, if it requires authentication, that's true, and you're not logged in, then you're going to, if you're that user, then and you clicked, for example, the admin part, then you can't go there, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to send the user to the login page so they can log in. That's what this is doing, basically. So if you're not logged in and you're trying to access the login page, you get sent to the login page. The other one I want to do is next, else, and then next. And that's if you're required and you're logged in, then you get pushed to the page. So for example, if you click admin page and you're logged in, you just get shown the admin page. That's really what it does. Or you can manually click the login page to log in. So that's basically all we want. And then we want to export the router here. So in this and then export default and default router. Great. So now this is set up, but we also need to indicate the specific areas where we want to use this navigational guards, right? We set it up, but it's not really, it's not testing really. It's testing for the user, but this required auth is not being used anywhere. So what we want to do is we want to figure out where we want our login to be, or our navigation guard needs to be. And of course I want it for admin, that's the first one, right? So after admin, you're going to do a comma separation, and then you're going to type something called meta. So the one down here, record.meta, right? Same here. So meta tags, and do a parentheses, sorry. Let's do first the colon here, and then do our curly brackets. And inside here, we're going to type in requires auth, and then we're setting this to true. So this basically means you need to be logged in and authorized before you can see this. And I want to copy this because I wanted to have it on admin. I don't want people outside to see this, and I also want it to be on add new items, right? So do a comma and set in the meta tags here as well. Let's click save, and let's see, I have an error. Let's expand and let's see. So export router. That's because that's down here. Oh yeah, sorry. So up here we have our export default, and we're actually kind of pushing it out here. So up here, since we're already exporting at the bottom, we want to switch this up. So in here we kind of want to make this a constant router, export constant router and equal to new router. So that's what we want to do instead. That should remove the error. Great. So now we have that, and let's go test our browser to see if it still works. So let's just do menu quick. Woohoo, it's still there. And let's go to admin. See, I can't see the admin page anymore. So if I go to about, and if I go back to admin, I need to log in. So I need to do bagel.com 1 2 3 4 5 6 log in. And now I can also click add item, and I can actually add the new item, and I can go back to my admin and so on. And if I do a log out, I should create a log out button up here, but whatever. And if I do this log out again, I can actually, where do you log out? There we go. So sign out, and if I click back, now you can see we have our navigational guard set up. So I can enter the restricted area, there we go, because we set up these guards here. So wherever you add these meta tags right now, for example to menu and whatever you were creating, so when we get to the orders as well, we need to create the meta tags for those. We are testing to see if the user exists, if it's logged in, and then we are allowed to see it. All right, that's setting up a login information or login system for our project here.